Hey everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Pod Club Live. I'm Lauren Gonzalez, LG for short, and this is.
I'm Julia Carney.
You might not know our voices as well as you know Steve Inskeep's, but you might know our writing on NPR Pod Club. This is a newsletter that brings you fresh recommendations, episode recommendations every week from across the NPR network. We get to be fangirls of NPR podcasts for a living, which is the best gig ever. And Julia, I thought it would be a nice thing for us to introduce ourselves to our viewers, have them get to know us a little bit better. So I have an icebreaker for you. I want to know which podcast made podcasts for you.
Okay, so this will not blow anyone's mind, and I promise my taste has evolved and gotten more interesting and whatever, but cereal, it is such a banger for a reason and like kicked off the whole medium for a reason. Yeah, I was hooked. What about you?
I get it. I am also pretty classic in my taste, or at least what got me in the door. I loved Radiolab. I found it when I was right out of college and hated my job and needed wonder and awe and joy. And Radiolab gave me that every week. And I just thought to myself, I gotta work here in this somehow. And so thank you, Radiolab, for getting me into public media and into the pod club. So I really want to assure everyone here that though those might sound like pretty obvious recommendations, we do actually have some pretty great hidden gems and fresh recs every week for you. And so if you want to check out our newsletter and get to know a little bit more about our writing and get to know about all the podcasts that we love across NPR, please subscribe. We'll share the link at some point, and it's also going to be in the episode description in our live stream. But for now, we're just really excited to bring you a special conversation with some of our favorite hosts who work on some pretty cool shows. So, Julia, can you share a little bit more about what to expect today?
Okay, so in the next 45 minutes to 1 hour, we have some really cool stuff coming up. So in a little bit, I'm going to talk with Rachel Martin, icon of NPR, about the questions that make up her show Wildcard, which is a show where cards drive the conversation. It's amazing. But first, we're going to talk with the hosts of How to Do Everything, which if you don't know, now you know. It's a spinoff of Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. So funny, so good. I'm like belly laughing out loud with my headphones in. They're going to talk to LG about how they approach solving like life's most random questions. So on the show, they've answered, could a group of bees lift a house key? And also, how would one make a new time zone? So, it really runs the whole gamut. It's amazing. And today they're going to actually take your questions. So if you have something in your life that you're not sure really how to approach, mine is, how do I give up late night crafting? Because it's like a siren's call and I need assistance.
Julia, don't give it up. Just make me something.
Girl, I'm on it. Listen, don't tempt me with a good time. But if you have your own questions, please drop them in the chat and we'll put them to Mike and Ian and see how they might get the ball rolling on such a query.
Yes.
So drop them in and LG, take it away. Let's go.
Awesome. Thanks, Julia. We're going to bring in Mike and Ian from How to Do Everything. Come on in, guys. Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good.
Terrific.
Good to see you.
Yes. Mike, you were just telling us about your lunch break.
I did. I just wolfed down a hot dog, a Chicago-style hot dog.
Nice.
I don't normally eat it, but it's actually pretty good. It's actually delicious.
I've been fasting for 24 hours in prepreparation for this.
Oh my God.
You look great.
Please don't faint. Please don't faint. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. For those viewers watching, if you don't know the show, shame on you. But I'll give you a little explanation. How to Do Everything is a half advice show, half survival guide. You guys are taking listener questions every week, attempting to solve them. So I have to know, have you ever been foiled on your quest to do everything?
Oh, I'm sure we have.
Yeah, we've disappointed a lot of people.
Have you really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Sometimes when we try and help, we actually make it worse, I think,
Yeah.
probably.
More often than not, I think we
Yeah.
make problems worse, which just creates more questions and kind of keeps the show going.
Have you ever actually had a listener come back to you and say, like, actually, that didn't answer my question at all?
We did get, well, what were you going to say, Mike?
I would just say if people's expectations are so low, I think we're a last resort. So if they do ask us for help, it's usually not an emergency where
True.
it could go wrong. But what were you gonna say?
Well, I was going to say, I think the most we've ever disappointed someone, and I feel bad about it, was someone wrote in and they were about to have laser hair removal and they
Okay.
wanted some tips for preparing for the pain of that.
Okay.
So we literally
yeah.
went to a practice of the U.S. men's rugby team, the U.S. national rugby team, guys who deal with a lot of pain, and we got
Sure.
their tips. Yeah, she didn't appreciate that advice. I think the pain didn't really. Laser hair removal is a lot more painful than anything you will experience on the rugby field. So. Yeah.
Really? I don't know. As someone who's
Yeah.
done laser, I think it's not that bad. Let me talk to her. Let me talk to them later.
All right. We'll redo the episode with you. All right.
Okay, so
Also, maybe
go for
you'd
it.
be good at rugby.
I
Like
think
maybe
I
you should think
would.
about that. Yeah,
I
your
should.
threshold's very high.
I'll try out right after this.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
I was going to ask you guys. So, well, listeners, get in touch with you. All types of burning questions. I know Julia shared a couple. What do you think is the weirdest thing someone has ever asked you to do? Obviously, you just shared the laser hair removal story, but there's got to be weirder things, right?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, this season, a question that I'm very excited about addressing is this couple called us together. And first we got an email from the girlfriend in the couple. And she basically, her email said, my boyfriend is super, super hot. He works out all the time. He looks great, but he is covered in hair. Another hair question I realize I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know how to shave his chest.
Okay.
Do you have any advice? And then we talked to them on the phone. They were adorable and really struggling with this problem. So for this one, we decided to reach out to a champion dog groomer, somebody who actually groomed the Best in Show poodle at Westminster for her tips. And she had really good tips that work across species.
That episode is coming up. Yes, that hasn't aired yet.
Well, everyone better check out that. I hope it's coming out in a couple of weeks because I am very curious to listen to that episode.
Let me just say for anybody listening who's not familiar with the show, the questions do not have to be hair related. Those are actually aberrations.
That's a good point.
You can ask about anything.
I was going to say for 2 hair related questions, you always seem to go to very interesting experts. Never an actual laser hair specialist. I'm noticing. I don't know what you have against the laser community, but I think they could give good advice here too.
Yeah. No, I mean, circling back to the first
Yeah.
thing we talked about, we don't actually help a lot of people. We just make problems worse.
If not better, if not worse, maybe the same or just different. I don't know.
Yeah.
To give you the benefit of the doubt here. I'm curious, are all questions fair game to you all?
For
Do
sure.
you have any sort of limits, any personal, professional limits on what you will answer and attempt to figure out?
I don't think so, do we? I mean, I think we just have things where we just go with what we're naturally curious or interested in, and what's gonna lead us to the most fun conversation with both the caller, the person with the question, and then the expert. Because it's we're learning this stuff along with everybody else. We didn't know anything about dog grooming, but now we know. I don't remember. What do you remember? We know too much about the parts of the dog body and how they're shaped.
Well, I mean, the dog groomer suggested that you could actually leave kind of contour with hair. You could leave hair that would accentuate a 6-pack if you kind of create shadows with hair, and that's not something I would have thought about.
How to groom your hot boyfriend and your hot dog, it sounds like.
Oh, that goes back to my lunch. It's the perfect circle. I think we're done.
End scene.
Yeah.
Well, so let me ask you this. If someone asked I'm trying to figure out if you have a limit here. You've got to, right? bullying, probably. You're not going to help someone bully another person or something like that. We're not going to get
Do
mean
they
on you.
deserve it?
If they deserve it, then you'll go, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll take any question. I mean, sometimes someone will, I think, have stumbled across the email and not really understood what the show is. So we
Sure.
will get a question like mixed in among the like, you know, how do I break up with my dentist or whatever, like those kind of questions, which we're always interested in. Someone will be like, how do I attach an HP monitor to my 2018 MacBook Pro using a HDMI cable? Like, we're the wrong people for you.
Yeah.
That's not going to make a good segment.
Totally. Not tech support here. Well, I was just asking mainly because for those following along and maybe going to ask a question to Mike and Ian, it sounds like any question's fair game. So truly ask them anything. They'll answer any question except for tech support. It sounds like
we've tried. Yeah, I would say I remember early on we got a question. Do you remember this one, Ian, where someone's like, what do I do about my potatoes? Where can I store them so they stop sprouting things? And I think we talked to someone about it, we took it seriously, and we each edited it over and over again to where this 10-minute conversation became like a 45-second clip. Like, this is terrible. It's just not interesting. I mean, ultimately, we want it to be something you want to listen to.
Yeah.
And the potato thing was just kind of a bust.
But we do welcome potato questions. And we've done other potato-related segments that were actually quite successful. You remember this, Mike? There was once Boeing was testing out a new Wi-Fi system on one of their planes.
Yes.
And they needed to see how the Wi-Fi would interact on the plane when there were people on board.
Okay.
But they didn't want to have a bunch of people have to sit on a plane for 12 hours while they did this. So they got a bunch of potatoes and they put them in bags and shaped them like people, because apparently potatoes absorb Wi-Fi to the same degree people do. So in the middle of the desert somewhere was a Boeing airplane filled with 300 potato passengers. Anyway.
I love that. Potato people.
Potato people.
I'm not going to distract. I am curious now who finds out that potatoes absorb Wi-Fi as much as people, but that feels like another how to do everything question that we don't have time for right now, I have to say.
Okay. Well, that's too bad. Shoot.
Well, I was going to ask you, I mean, you all attempt to solve these problems yourselves, but often you are bringing in experts to do that work for you of answering the question. Sometimes it's a celebrity. So I'm curious, what's a celebrity you've interviewed that actually gave sneaky good advice?
Good question.
I mean, recently, we had on Andy Samberg recently from SNL and a million other things, and he's a very funny guy. But he was answering a bunch of relationship questions, and he was very sincere. He was like, you would definitely, if you were ever going through a breakup, and you had access to him, he would be the person you would want to talk to.
Yeah, definitely. I remember it was last season, I think, you all asked Tom Hanks how to withstand a really long, awkward standing ovation. Yeah.
Yeah. He was great. And his thing was just have on good shoes, I think, and just buckle up, wasn't it? Like, just, you got to have to do it. That's why you're out there.
Take your hokas.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
I love that. Well, I'm curious, do you guys consider yourselves advice experts at this point? Like, are you the gurus we can turn to with any of life's questions?
No.
No.
I don't think so.
Definitively no.
Hard no. Yeah, I mean, like kind of like Mike was saying, we don't know anything. So we kind of, we like going on this journey and finding people and finding new ways to think about these questions more than actually answering them.
Yeah,
don't take advice from us.
We ask questions. That's what we do. So we take your question and we ask it of somebody who maybe will have an answer.
Totally.
Yeah. We're just middlemen, really.
Just middlemen. Yeah. Well, I'm curious, anything that you've learned, advice or just lessons that you've applied to your own life? Like how is How to Do Everything kind of like following your personal life?
There's a tip I use a lot that we did years ago on the show, which is, it's a tiny little thing, but everybody should do this. Someone gave us this piece of advice that I'm getting my phone so I can show you.
Please.
That I used to live in Chicago where Mike does, which is, has very, very hard winters.
Mhm.
And one way to survive that is to put the town of Verkhoyansk in your phone.
Okay.
Just
Where's
look
that?
up Verkhoyansk. It's, I think, near Siberia.
Got it.
Siberia adjacent. And wherever you are in the world, no matter how bad it is, it's always worse in Verkhoyansk. So you can have that on your phone and look, and it'll be like 8 degrees and a chance of wolves. It's always like, it's horrible. And that will always make you feel better about where you are. That's some advice that I use.
I love it. As a part-time resident of Chicago, I'm going to need the spelling of that city so I know.
Oh, good.
Yes. But wait, I'm curious, where did you learn this? Was that something that came out and how did you everything? A guest who told you that?
Yeah. From time to time, people mostly will email us with questions, but sometimes because of what we do, people email and say, hey, I have this great thing I do. Maybe you want to tell people about it. We got a hiccup cure that way, which I still use.
Wait, what is that? You've got to tell us.
Well, it's essentially, it's a guided meditation that would take more time than we have here. But people still will call me from across the country to have me do this over the phone. I've done it one time when we were producing Wait, we were recording an episode of Wait live on stage. Peter Sagal got the hiccups and he couldn't get rid of them and he had to host the show. So I did it from the booth and cured his hiccups on stage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's true. That actually happened. What a miracle. Truly. What a miracle you are, Ian.
Yeah.
That was good.
You and meditation, it seems to cure all.
Yeah.
I'm curious, is there maybe you've learned this from the show, maybe you've just learned this from life. What is your recipe for good advice?
Oh boy. Well, I don't think you ever give advice unless someone asks for it, right? That's just common knowledge. That's just good practice.
Yes.
Free advice is worth what you pay for it. That's what my dad always says.
I love that.
Which is also advice. So
it is indeed.
Yeah.
Well,
it's true.
Okay, we are going to put your advice skills and just your investigative skills to the test. As we have been alluding to this, we're gearing up to share some questions that listeners and viewers have. And hopefully you can kind of help us solve it or begin to solve it how you would go about it on your show. I'm going to actually start first. And you're going to find out soon that this whole live stream was just a ploy to ask you my question. And just so the viewers know here, Mike and Ian do know the question that I'm about to ask. They've maybe thought about it a little bit because I have been annoying about it and pestering at least Mike since the summer. But okay, I'm going to get started. So my question for you two. How do I go about finding 20 time capsules across America?
20
time capsules.
Mm-hmm. We do know this question, but I haven't thought about it. Other than to wonder, why does she need 20? Can
I tell you?
Yeah.
Okay. And someone did tell me that 20 is a random number. It is a random number. I mainly have this idea that I would like to start a museum of time capsules. I think that would be really cool. I think people would love that museum. And I feel like 20 is the right amount of time capsules to start. If you have just one time capsule, that's not a museum, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 20. I'm going to stick with 20. But I have no idea how I would just get these, I feel like they're hidden and tucked away across high schools across America. And that feels complicated. So I love how would you help me get started on this? How do I find 20 time
Can I ask, have you ever done a time capsule before? Have you ever when you were a kid put together a time capsule?
I honestly feel like I saw more TV shows that featured time capsules than actually participated in it myself, Yeah.
I think my pitch for my first pitch.
Talk to me.
For how I would do this on our show is it would be a running segment.
Okay.
Every week we would do LG digs a hole and we just take you to a random spot and we just start digging. We dig 10 feet down and we try and maybe we hit something. And eventually, if this goes on long enough, we're eventually going to find a time capsule or a treasure or dead body. It could be anything. It could be a lot of
Where
fun.
would we start though? What location? What would you begin with? Where would you have LGs start digging?
First dig. Somewhere with soft ground. So we're going to think in the south.
Okay.
Not too cold. I'm going to say Columbia, South Carolina. That's going to be our
Perfect.
first.
Got it.
Well, maybe actually I sneak into high schools, right?
That's what I think. I think
That's what I
if you're
think.
going to do it anywhere, you should do it near a school. I would do it in
Yes.
elementary school because I think I was in 4th grade when we did a time
Okay.
capsule once. So
Okay.
maybe you could go to North Ridgeville Elementary School outside of Cleveland, and maybe there's one there from when I was a little kid that you could dig out.
Do you,
Like start with a place that's gonna bury something to begin with.
where do you remember what? Did you put something in it?
I have no idea. I'm sure it was just like Legos and like Hot Wheels cars and stuff like that. Little stuff.
So to summarize, go south, break into private property, dig holes. 3 things until
Yes.
you get something. Yeah.
Start digging around elementary schools at night. Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, just time capsule or not, a segment where we just dig a hole and try and find something every week
It's
would
fun.
be thrilling.
I think it's a great idea, actually. Yeah, we just go to you and you're like panning through the dirt that you've dug up to see if anything shows up.
Totally.
Every episode ends. Nope, nothing today. See you next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. I thought there was going to be something simpler, but it sounds like this is the way forward, and I'm committed with you. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm in. I like this whole game.
Okay, we have a couple of other questions from listeners, and I think we have a little time. Are we ready for them?
Sure.
Okay, so Kyle E wants to know, how do I get my daughter to stop crying when I drop her off at school?
Whoa.
Okay. Good question.
I have a 2-year-old.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Who goes to daycare, and he recently had not liked being dropped off, but this week, in fact, I discovered that on the way to school, there's a bodega with a bodega cat.
Nice.
And I'd say it's about 3/4 of our walk to school. So we say we're going to stop and see the cat. So that gets us through 3/4 of the walk. And then he's so pumped about the little cat. He's still laughing when he gets to school. And then I run out as soon as he turns his back.
There we go.
Yeah.
You escape before your son knows you've left.
Yeah, that's important.
Love
Also, a real answer is they're always fine a minute later. Like even if they're crying, like that's the last image you have of a kid being dropped at daycare, but they're fine the rest of the day.
Totally. I love
You
it.
need to build in something exciting along the way to distract from your departure.
If there's not a bodega, plant a cat 3/4 of the way there.
Perfect.
That you can look at.
LG can bury a cat on the route to school and then pull it out.
They have
as
30
needed.
seconds before anything terrible happens.
There's some stakes. This is working.
That would definitely make a kid happy to see a dead cat on the way to school.
It's not dead. It's dead. Yeah. Get a stick from scuba gear so the cat has some oxygen.
Oh, that's a great idea. I didn't even think about
Yeah.
that. That's why I have
Again,
YouTube.
we're creating more problems than we're solving. But then we're solving those problems.
That's the thing. You create problems it gives you more episodes. That's why you do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, we have another one.
Yes.
Chow P asks, when does a walk become a hike?
Oh,
Mhm. Good question. Wait, do you have a quick answer for that?
I mean, I have a belief
Okay, I'm interested.
that hiking is just walking. And I believe tubing is just sitting. And I believe going to a baseball game is just eating. And it doesn't matter. All of those things are great things to do. You can call them whatever you want.
I am not going to drown sitting in like I'm just sitting now, but I'm at no risk of drowning. Whereas if I'm tubing, that could happen.
No,
The risk
you're
is
also not
higher.
going to drown tubing. Tubing is just sitting.
You
It's
don't
just
know
wet.
what I do
It's
when I'm
wet
tubing.
sitting. That's all it is.
Wet sitting. I think a walk turns into a hike once it starts to hurt. Once you've been walking too long.
But I don't know. I mean, I think that a walking all day in the city is harder on your body than a hike.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's interesting. Is
So
that
maybe it
because
is
of
a
what?
hike.
Because of the
Maybe.
cement or the impact on your
Yeah,
knees
yeah.
or something?
I think so.
And no hokas.
No
Tom Hanks,
hokas.
call back. Okay, I have another sort of
Yeah.
philosophical question, I think. Louisa M. needs an answer. Is cereal soup?
The
No.
podcast?
Say that again.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think
You
it
know,
is. I don't think it is.
is there an official, like, at the FDA, is there a line for what is soup?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
We could call the FDA, but I think they're closed today.
That is true. The
Oh,
government shutdown is affecting things already. This is the
Huh.
first
Oh,
thing the government
shucks.
shutdown has affected.
I would say it's not, but this is not right. But I don't think it's a soup because it's cold. You can have a cold
Mm,
soup,
Yes,
but you always say it's a cold soup.
you
yeah.
do.
I have a
You have to
friend who
qualify.
got fired from as a job as a short order cook because somebody asked him to heat up gazpacho and he refused on principle.
Really?
Yeah. I think Cocoa Puffs are the closest to a soup because I think you want the particulate in the soup
Okay.
to then flavor the substrate broth.
Oh boy.
And I think that there are cereals for which that happens and cereals where it doesn't.
You
Yeah.
heard it here first. Cocoa Puffs is a soup.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, I don't like this.
What,
Okay.
As soon as the government opens again, we will get to the
We'll
bottom
ask
of this.
them. Yes. We'll go back to the FDA for that one. But in the meantime, Cocoa Puffs, we can count on that. This was so great. I think I will speak on behalf of Kyle, Chow, Louise, and myself when I say thank you so much for bestowing so much wisdom. I wanted to ask you both, what can we expect this season? I know we're a few episodes in, but what other things do we have in store for how to do everything this year?
Well, we have some grooming tips that we talked about.
We
Mhm.
do. Lots of hair-related episodes in store.
We try to help someone get over their motion sickness.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's going to be a
That's
fun one.
that's coming up.
I was just editing a segment where someone called us with the question, how do I talk to my dentist when he has all the tools in my mouth, which I think is something all of us can relate to.
Absolutely a universal problem.
We go above and beyond, I think, to answer that question. Too far. We go too far
Too far. We
in
go
answering
too far.
that question.
Who gets in the hot seat? The dentist hot seat.
Mike. Mike gets in the dental chair.
Yep, I did it.
Nicely done.
No cavities.
Yeah.
That's a spoiler, but I feel comfortable
You
saying
said I
it.
had nice teeth.
Congratulations.
It was
Yeah,
good. Yeah,
he got a lot of compliments for his teeth.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear it. I cannot wait to listen. We actually have a special preview or a clip of your episode that came out today that we're going to share in a minute. This is a clip where a listener calls in. They're asking for workout advice, and they get answers from none other than the Terminator himself. So we're going to listen to that now.
Hey, Elizabeth, what can we help you with?
Well, how can I get some exercise during my long commute? It's an hour each direction, and it's a lot of sitting, and I'd like to maximize my time a little better.
Really just one person to call to help Elizabeth with this problem.
Hello, Arnold.
Hello.
This is, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
So our question for you, is there anything Elizabeth can do in her car to exercise?
Well, I would say when you drive, you should really concentrate on the traffic because that's challenging enough. But I was always fighting with my stomach. So when I drive with the car, I would just suck in my stomach and hold it as long as I can to discipline myself to keep the stomach in. So that really helped me. And you can do that kind of a training while you're driving, and it doesn't take your eye away from the road or anything like that.
Love it. When he tells me to suck in my gut, my posture immediately is perfect. Yeah. Perfect.
I feel great.
Yeah. I feel so great. Working out. Well, Ian, Mike, thanks for the workout. Thanks for all the advice. We really appreciate you joining us today. And for everyone watching, you can check out How to Do Everything everywhere you get your podcasts. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Hi, Julia.
Hello, that was so good. I'm just over here chuckling
I know.
cracking up.
It is
Are you going to
truly-
start digging?
No, I think I'm gonna. That's not my style. I'm not a rebel, and everyone has to know I work at NPR. Clearly, I follow the rules, so I will befriend a principal and see if he can, or he or she, they help me find a time capsule, and we'll just go from there.
I love that. That's a good call. Befriend
Yeah.
a principal.
I would. I mean, I'll join them for the bit and dig a little bit somewhere, but as long as it's not messing up someone's lawn, like I don't want to ruin that. I
Oh, you really are. You're
I'm a
rare.
good girl. I am a good girl. Anyways,
Oh my
okay.
gosh.
So we're going to bring in our next guest in a few, but before that, we're going to do something special for you all. It's time for our very first Pod Club Awards. Drum roll, please. So we're going to tell you what we listened to this week and which pods win our very official, not at all silly competition. So I'm going to get started.
Yes.
So I'm giving the award for podcast that made me pro cat. By the way, I truly didn't realize how cat heavy this live stream was going to be. So you never know where these things are going to go. But anyways, so the podcast that made me pro cat the award goes to The Final Days of Sergeant Tibbs from New Hampshire Public Radio. This podcast came out a few months ago, but it is really such a treat. It's about a 19-year-old cat who gets lost in a custody battle. And it's a story that touches on class, race, and just different communities kind of like struggling together. And in the midst of this is this poor dying cat who is looking for a home. And I will admit, and I don't want anyone coming at me in the chat, but I am not an animal lover. And this podcast really, warmed my heart and made me just really root for Sergeant Tibbs. Poor guy.
Yes.
Anyways,
I love it.
listen to that podcast. Julia.
No, I'm excited.
Yes.
Excited to check it out. Okay. My award is Unlikely Couples Therapy. And the award goes to Pop Culture Happy Hour for their episode about the Haunted Hotel, which is a new series on Netflix that I am never going to watch. It's not for me, but my partner, he's watched it 3 times through already. And this episode gave me a lot to chat to him about. I'm like, hey, like, what did you think of that directing? It's like pretty interesting stuff. And it helped me connect. And for that reason, congratulations, Pop Culture Happy Hour. You win this award.
Yay. The couple that watches TV and listens to pods together stays together, in my opinion. So thank you, Julia, for that one. Okay, I got the next award. So the category is The Kids Are All Right. So the award for The Kids Are All Right category goes to the NPR Student Podcast Challenge. This is such a great program that NPR does. We get high school and middle school students to send us some of their best audio work, and there's always a winner for each division, the middle school and the high school. I actually want to shout out Monster Madness. They did not take the top spot, but they truly captured my heart. It was an entry all about Bigfoot, and they sang their own theme song, Monster Madness. I'm not going to sing it. It's going to sound super corny if I do it, but the kids did it, and it was so cute.
I want everyone to know LG sent this. She's been talking about this for weeks, and the theme song really is stuck in her head. So
yes, it is. I'm still talking about it. So congratulations, Student Podcast Challenge, Monster Madness. You win my heart.
I love that. Okay, and our final award of our very first inaugural Pod Club Awards is the Mom, Can You Come Pick Me Up award, because I'm scared. I'm terrified. This podcast from KQED is called Close All Tabs, and it's so darn good. And this episode in particular was low-key terrifying. It's all about AI and religion and how there's like AI-induced religious mania there's been a few cases of this, and what happens when, generative AI and spirituality collide. And it's a little freaky, and I would love to be picked up by my mom. So it's a really good episode. I highly recommend to y'all if you're trying to stay up all night or whatever.
And that concludes our very official Pod Club Awards. The winners win nothing but our admiration and love and shout outs. But hopefully that's enough. And we, I think, are ready for our next guest. Julia, I'm going to kick it over to you.
Yes. Okay. The moment that I have been waiting for, which is where I get to talk to the host of NPR's Wildcard, Rachel Martin. You might already know her. She's an icon. Hello.
An icon. Come
Girl,
on.
please don't even. Icon. One of the founding hosts of Up First. And I have it on good authority that Barbara Streisand called her a good interviewer, which is true. Barbara is often correct.
She said it at the end of our interview, and I was like, can we just like keep it in? Like, can we just
Come on,
not cut that one off?
I love that.
I need it to be my ringtone.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I would do that. We're so glad you're here. Thank you so
for
much.
having me.
Yeah. Okay, so I spend a lot of time in comment sections, especially for podcasts.
Brave woman.
And yes, I don't engage. I just lurk. But something folks are always talking about in the wild card corners of the internet are the questions on your show. They're amazing. They're special. People want to get their hands on them. But I want to know how you all come up with them and what is the process for that development.
Oh my gosh. First, I do need to say shout out to all the people out there who have literally made their own wildcard decks because we are making them and they will be available to purchase coming soon. But people have listened to episodes and written down the questions and then had different forms. I had one guy send me a 3D printed version of wildcard. He made this cool container and then printed the questions on these long like tongue depressors and lined them all up. People are very ingenious.
See the power of these questions.
Yeah, it's cool. So we spend a lot of time on the questions. I mean, when people ask me what my job is, it's not so much that I say, oh, I interview people. It's really like we come up with questions. That's like 90% of the work. And the questions, we really try to make sure that there's something that you haven't heard before. So, if it's a question that's leading to a place that feels familiar, like something you would have bandied about with your college roommates, like late in the night on the dorm room floor, we try to take what's true about that question and then just tweak the language around it so it's just ever so different. And that ends up opening up different things in people. So it can be a familiar question in some way, but even with small changes, you'd be surprised about how it opens someone up or opens their memory or their imagination up in a different direction. So I was thinking about this, like here's like one of the cards that I used just in a taping just now with Jeff Hiller from Somebody Somewhere, who is amazing.
Wow. Congratulations on his Emmy.
I know, he's so great. So, instead of asking just like a question about loneliness, which is a really ripe topic, like, how do you deal with loneliness? You try to make it specific, right? So our question on that is, at what point in your life did you spend the most time alone? And so they're really designed to be prompts, right? So, and as specific as we can make the question, the better. And obviously no yes, no questions. I think there's a couple that sneak in there. They've got special dispensation, but on the whole,
you do a good job. You do a really good job of pressing folks. I just listened to the Raphael, the creator of BoJack Horseman episode.
Yeah, Raphael Bob Blacksburg.
He tried to get away with a few, and you were like, "Oh, come on, give me a little."
They got to pay me for something, and so there's some follow-up questions involved. But you know what? The process of coming up with the deck is so fun because we have a really small team at Wildcards, just a handful of us, and the deck of cards, the list of questions, basically, is this living document.
I love
and
it.
So we are always curating it and rethinking questions and tweaking them, refining them, taking some out if they've come up and they just haven't been very generative, or if they're not good storytelling prompts, and then adding new ones in all the time. And when we add new questions, we all live in different cities. So we get together on a call, much like this, a video call, and we test our questions with each other. And because
you all are just sitting around and you're like, when were you the most lonely in your life?
That's right.
These questions
That's
don't
right.
come up with coworkers.
What's an emotion
often.
that you know better than any other emotion? Or what's an ordinary
my
place that feels
gosh.
extraordinary to you because of what happened? And sometimes we fall in love with the question itself. And then when we actually
Yeah.
test it on each other, we're like, oh, right. What would I say to that? And
yeah.
we want people to have space and time to answer these questions. We edit the show down. So in the moment, guests have plenty of time to think through it. But we don't want people to work too hard. And there's also a component of the show where a guest can flip a question on me.
Yes.
And so I have
love
to be
this.
prepared to answer the question. Like, I also have skin in the game, which was part of the fun of designing this, is that we wanted it. A traditional interview, there's like a power imbalance. Like, I'm the person who's asked the question. I'm asking the questions here, right?
Yeah.
And so we tried to create a device within the game where I would feel like a little more of an equal playing ground when I could be asked any of the following questions. So I have to be comfortable answering them. And so that's why we test them all out to make sure it's something we could all tell a story about, or that we could come up with something thoughtful and meaningful to say. It's fun.
I love that. I will say, I think it's one of the most powerful parts of the show is that you're so willing to meet them in that like vulnerable space and talk about being a parent or being a partner. And I always love those moments when they flip it back on you.
Yeah, I felt really strongly about that. Like, especially if anyone came along with me on this next iteration of my professional career, if they had known me as the news anchor of Weekend Edition or at Morning Edition or these big NPR news shows, I think part of people would be like, what? She's this other kind of person. And how do I trust her to be this kind of person? And so part of it is designed to just like, hey, this is more of me than you knew before. And and I really do think it's this is how you develop vulnerability and intimacy and real conversation with people, is by sharing. Like, if you expect someone to be vulnerable with you and to be authentic with you, just like buzzword everywhere, but really, like, if you want a meaningful exchange with another person, you've got to make yourself vulnerable. And so I'm like, well, if we're going to ask these people these questions, then I got to be able to give it to some degree.
That makes a ton of sense. I think about this a lot, actually, because I'm a chronic oversharer.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it actually leads to some really great conversations because you break down.
Yeah.
I share something really personal and then someone's like, oh, me too. And then it's like,
totally.
You suddenly have a great dialogue going.
I'm the same way, Julia. And I sort of decided a long time ago that if someone doesn't want to reciprocate, fine. That's okay. What's the worst case scenario? Like, someone's going to be like, oh, she shares too much. Who cares? They're not going to say it to my face. And, I'd rather
say it behind my back. That's fine.
I don't care. I'd rather live that way and share to the degree that if someone wants to reciprocate, then you never know where the conversation could go.
Yeah. I absolutely love that. I have been wondering though about you specifically. Do people expect you to be this like amazing, dazzling conversationalist in your personal life?
I don't think
the pressure on.
Expect it, but an annoying thing about me that was even before this is, like, anyone who's had these jobs where it is your literal paycheck, you get your paycheck because you can facilitate conversation.
Yeah.
And it's a hard habit to break. So I have a hard time being at a dinner party where there's just like a moment where everyone's just like chill between courses and no one's saying anything. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to make.
So when did you feel lonely?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Oh man.
And I feel like I need to draw people out and like be the host of the thing. And my husband's always like, just chill, just be. Let's exist in this quiet place together. But no one's ever like, oh, let's invite Rachel so she can like steer us in the direction of deep thinking. Although I did go to Portugal last weekend. So fun. It was a friend of mine's 50th birthday. And her sister was like, you should bring your cards. I'm like, I'm not bringing my cards. Like that. Hi, I host a podcast and you guys can.
Hello, everyone.
Let's play with my cards. We did do some tarot and we drew from a bag of Celtic runes. Which is fun in its own.
You guys are cool.
I mean, we are kind of cool, but it is. I love it. These cards, in my mind, are magical cards. Because also a thing about the show, I really am drawing randomly, and so there are cards in front of me that I'm like, God, I would have really liked to have asked Jeff Miller this.
Interesting.
But it
I mean, yeah, I
didn't
guess
come
that makes
up,
sense.
so I'm not
Yeah.
asking it. It's just like that's a conversation that exists in a parallel reality. The show's a little woo-woo, but
I'm here for it. Can I
I'm
do?
into
I
it.
will say I wanted to give you some unsolicited feedback, which is at the end, I am thinking about those questions that didn't get answered,
right.
and I'm like, this should
What
be
were they?
twice as long. Like I want to hear all of them.
You wanted me to ask all the questions? I mean, I do too.
Which I understand that like they have to pick, but like the Matthew McConaughey interview that came out last week, so good, and it ended, and I was like, that's it? Like, and I think it's 40 minutes long. It's not short, but I was like,
Julia, get on a mountaintop and preach that to all the people.
like
that it should be longer.
Listen, I'm like, I would have been seated for like a couple hours. It's like, it's just, especially when you get a guest like him who's just so ready to go there with you. Totally. And like, y'all were kind of vibing too. Like, it was just a really, really fun.
Although not all of them are like that, right? Like there are some people, I will not say their names, who are there. It is really like pulling teeth to get them to come along on this journey.
Yeah, that's fair.
But hopefully the listener and the viewer does not see that. Viewer too, because now we're on YouTube. Check it out.
Yes, I love it. I guess, okay, so I do want to know, you've done, I think, over 60 of these by my count. Like there's a really beautiful body of work. And I guess, do you have a favorite moment you can share? You've had some like huge names.
100%. I have an answer to this question.
Oh my God, please.
And which is not always the case, right? Like I will be in a group of people and people will be like, who's the best interview you've ever had? And I'm just like, I don't know. And I
don't know, man.
Grab someone and tell a story about them. But I feel so strongly about this one. And it's not a person, it's not like a huge celebrity, right?
Okay.
I mean, we do have a lot of big names, but then we also have some people that we think you should just know. Maybe you don't know them. They're not a household name. This writer's name is Jason Reynolds, and he writes a lot of young adult books. And I have met Jason through like friends of friends, and I just knew, and I was kind of vaguely familiar with his work, but there's just something about him. I'm like, he's going to be good at this. He is going to be good at it. And writers are really good at this. They're just,
I bet.
Those writers have a way with words. But it turns out there was a moment, I just elevated it on my Instagram actually. And we did this interview many months ago, but a card came up. Oh my God, what was the card? I remember so clearly what his answer was. It was something about, maybe it was, how has your understanding of God changed over time? And because we have a whole round on beliefs, and sometimes there's one comes up and it's just like a full-on God card. And this was one, and it prompted him to talk about taking care of his mom, who is ill. And this is the reality for so many people. When a parent has a chronic illness or is actively dying, and you become the most intimate of caretakers, like seeing this person who you put on this big parental pedestal and was your moral compass, your safety, your security. Now this person needs you in the most intimate of ways. So his answer to the question, like, how has your perception of God changed? He talked about his mom and how bathing his mom was a sacred act, and that she was the only creator that he had ever known. He didn't grow up religious. And so when he thinks about what a divine power would be, he ascribes that to his mother. And
oh my gosh,
then the act of caring for her in her most vulnerable moment is sacred. That is prayer. That is divinity. That is God. That is love. And I think about it all the time. It was so beautiful.
Wow, I love that. I missed that episode, and I'm so excited to go listen. I will say, the conversations about spirituality is like that's my favorite round, is beliefs. And I'm a lapsed religious person. Yeah. It's not part of my life. I don't believe in God or, but so many ways that people approach spirituality, and like seeing as your mom as a creator, and when you bathe her, that's prayer, and like, oh my gosh, like that resonates.
I know, even if you're not or even if you're a person for whom the word religious, like, gives you some kind of consternation. The way we've shaped these questions, they're accessible to anyone. They're just opening avenues to deeper parts of yourself and how you see the world. And they're all like really precious. Like I think of the questions in round 3 is just like, I love them. They're like so precious to me. And I also am like, I can't believe I'm getting away with this. There's part of me that's like, oh, I get to ask these questions. Okay. Oh how often do you think about death? Matt McConaughey or Harrison Ford? Sure.
Let's get into it. I know.
Talk about that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's a fun excuse to ask these questions that otherwise would be very impolitic to ask people.
Yes. Yeah. But it's like you create the space. And I think there's something beautiful about the questions are not specific to them. So it's like, it's not as if Harrison Ford feels called out. It's like, hey, this is the deck. The deck is driving us. That's it.
That's right. The cards control the conversation.
Yes. Okay, so we're actually about to share a sneak preview of your conversation with Brené Brown, which publishes tomorrow. Everyone needs to go find it wherever you listen or watch. Before we get to it, I did want to ask, what did anything surprise you about this interview? She is so, I don't know, transparent herself. So
I loved her so much. I hadn't like absorbed a lot of Brené Brown content, to be honest, before I talked to her. So I got real deep before, like a few weeks before. And I mean, speaking of vulnerability, that's her whole thing is like, is the power of that and where it can take you if you feel, well, her whole thing is like vulnerability. You have to walk through it to get to courage. And that's like such a lovely idea. So Brené, first of all, she swears like a sailor, FYI. Or just a Texan? I don't know. It's been a while since I've been to Texas. But that endeared her to me. But also, she and I had this lovely exchange about strangers. I mean, I love strangers. I could talk about strangers forever. The power that comes from connecting with a stranger. Yeah. And she gets frightened on airplanes. Brené Brown does. And which is a liability in her line of work because she's always traveling.
I would imagine.
She's always on planes. But she's developed this lovely thing where she will just talk to the person next to her and be vulnerable and say to them, I am having a really hard time right now with this turbulence. And I would so appreciate it if you could just talk to me, tell me something about your life. And
wow, I bet it works. I bet people love
99% of the time, people are so pleased to be able to be of help in that moment, which is so true for anything really. Like people want to help and it's like a low stakes way of helping someone. And the stranger thing for me is really powerful. I like seek out those moments. I like seek out and planes are great for it. There's so many strangers, right? And they're all living different lives. And I get absorbed with thinking about their backstories.
I'm picturing you. You're just like so excited.
Oh, I love it. Like, I love a plane. I imagine who they are and where they're going and their griefs and their joys. And especially if you need like help when you're in a group of strangers with something. And if I open the door to that being vulnerable in whatever way, and someone reciprocates with help in that moment, or when you're just witness to someone's kindness, maybe it's not me in the moment, it's someone else who's struggling in an airport or on a plane, and you see another person help another person they don't know, it makes me feel more tethered to all of us. You know, you see these two people being tethered to each other in this moment, and the world can be a dark place. And right now I feel like how I get through that is to witness these exchanges between people who don't know each other, will never see each other again, most likely. And to see people be not just decent to each other, but kind and clear, and then hungry for that interaction. You can see that they feel some kind of like smidgen of renewal through it. Yeah. So she and I talked a lot about that.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. That is like, that sounds incredible.
Yeah, she's great. I loved it.
Okay, well, let's jump into the sneak peek.
What feels unreachable to you?
Oh, my faith. God.
Ah,
That's my favorite part.
wait, that you never get there?
Yeah.
Well, that seems frustrating.
No, it's like pickleball. No, it is like pickleball. It's like the pursuit of mastery. Because I was a former athlete, and then I never thought I'd be able to have that identity again, in midlife. Who thought I would ever be able to be competitive again and become a student of a game again and never want to stop playing because you never get there. Like that's a thing that I wish people understood about what's uniquely human is the joy of mastery and the joy of pursuit. Like, haven't you ever wanted to solve a problem so bad and had so much, that process gave you so much that solving it actually came with kind of a wah, wah, wah. Like, okay. That's how I feel about faith. Like, as soon as I feel really good in my bones about something, the earthly world delivers someone new for me to dislike so profoundly. that I must go deeper.
Starting over.
Yeah. I'm starting over.
She's real funny, Brené Brown. Like, really, she's genuinely a very hilarious person.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. So looking forward to listening to the whole thing when it publishes tomorrow. Thank you so much, Rachel. This was really special.
Oh, I loved
Appreciate
it.
you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much. And we'll bring back LG.
Hello. That was so wonderful.
Oh my gosh.
What a joy.
When she was talking about the Jason Reynolds interview,
I know, I saw you.
Thinking about my mom. And then I was just like, don't lose it. Don't keep it together, Carney. Keep it together.
I did. I was about to go in the chat and say, like, Julia, I'm giving you a hug and I can come in if you need to take a moment.
So beautiful.
But
yes, thank you so much.
I was going
to
say,
say
that's the power of the cards, baby. It got you in your feels. It did what it needed to do. So yeah, it was really great.
Truly. Well, yeah. Thank you so much, Rachel and Mike and Ian for joining us. And shout out to everyone here. 26 people strong. We love it. My mom is here. Hello,
Hi, Mom.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. And if you liked what you heard and you want to keep following along, please subscribe to Pod Club, npr.org/podclub. We deliver some really great episode recs and really get down to the heart of just what makes our podcast so great. Hopefully we can do this again. Thank you again for joining us. And thank you, Julia. You were so fun to lead this with. And wear a matching sweatshirt with too.
Merch.
Pod Club. All right, everyone. Take care. Have a good afternoon. Bye.